All right, everybody, it's time for another setup roast, but this time I'm giving myself the ultimate challenge. This time around, I've asked you guys to send me your clean, pristine, and unroastable setups, and boy, did you deliver. I've got my work cut out for me today. But that's not gonna stop me from trying, so let's go!
Before we continue, special thanks to Keeps for sponsoring this video. Keeps offers the best solution for retaining as much of your hair as possible, so it's no surprise that they are the leading name in hair loss prevention for men. They also have a great business model. You can meet with the doctor online for complete discretion and have products delivered right to your doorstep every 3 months. Keeps also offers generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there, so the product you're getting is safe, effective, and affordable. Data shows that 2 out of 3 men experience some form of hair loss by the time they're 35, but acting now and getting ahead of the issue is the best line of defense. Not to mention, it can take up to 6 months to see results. The good news is that Keeps actually works, and their products have already helped millions of guys from going bald. So head to keeps.com/bitwit or click the description link to receive 50% off your first order. Take full control of your hair loss and try Keeps today.
My gaming area, PC custom built by me. Hope it's clean enough for you. All right, let's take a look here. Yeah, okay, we get it. You love the 80s. This feels like a half-assed attempt to pay homage to the era.
The 80s, am I right?
I feel like you're the type of guy who says, I was born in the wrong generation, but like you tweet it from your iPhone. No one who actually grew up in the 80s would find this impressive. This setup is probably what gave David Bowie cancer. Does your office chair glide on roller skates? Does your mouse pad match your shoulder pads? Is your favorite word totally? Are dogs constantly barking at your mullet? For the record, the retro 80s theme is so played out at this point. I mean, the only thing that could make this setup more basic are the Alex drawers from IKEA, the O11D, Gobi Hexalite panels, and the Dragon Ball Z Funko Pops. But apart from that, this is super unique. Judging from the leafy greens on your Xbox controller and posters, Dazed and Confused isn't just your favorite movie, it's your default state of mind. You clearly have no problem filling up your wall with crap, including the ugliest clock I have ever seen. I hope someone paid you to take that home. It looks like the love child of a Terminator and Dr. Entropy from Crash Bandicoot. Your PC actually looks pretty decent. Oh God, this tube is so crooked, it could be a politician.
So friends, we were talking about Nancy Pelosi.
Pride Month was straighter than this. And it's the only tube you had to bend. You had one job. I'm sorry, but this PC is a full-on Monet.
What's a Monet? It's like the paintings, see? From far away it's okay, but up close it's a big old mess.
Okay, first off, you've got 3 PCs, and why does it look like they evolved from each other? This one on the bottom is clearly the final form. What a unit. Do you have enough gym badges for that thing to obey you? I will give you a pass for having it on the floor, because I'm not sure if the Earth's crust can support that thing. I'm not sure whether your PC needs a smaller case or a diet plan. Meanwhile, the top system looks astronomically high off the ground. This is the first PC I've ever seen that triggers my fear of heights. At this point, the RGB lighting is just so airplanes don't crash into it. I wonder if a chopper could make it up there on a single tank. At least the ambient temps should be pretty low in the stratosphere. Look at those displays! The setup has so much screen real estate, you've had to put up missing posters for your mouse cursor. Half of these monitors aren't even yours. They just got sucked into your room by your system's gravitational pull. Somehow I feel this small panel on the wall is the nerdiest part of this setup. What's it monitoring? Your virginity levels? Doesn't look like it has much to report. I will admit, your cable management is remarkable and deserves high praise, so kudos to you. That's awesome. It is amazing what you can achieve without a sex life. My Valhalla setup, 9700 KF, RTX 3070, Aorus Pro, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so first off, tell me you're a fanboy without telling me you're a fanboy. Holy moly. I think you're a little too obsessed to the point where this feels like a kink. Like when a normal person thinks about this game, they think of Ubisoft, but Ubi hard. I'm slightly concerned that your whole ass rig is on this tiny little shelf. If that thing collapses while you're gaming, it's gonna send you to Valhalla. So you better start praying to whatever god you believe in. I'm gonna guess Thor. The only thing that tops your affinity for this game is your love for pens, apparently? You don't need any pens because this setup is nothing to write home about. If you think huffing pen ink will get you one step closer to Valhalla, you're wrong. Riding to Valhalla! Shout out to the 9th century Ethot on the wall who's taught you everything you know about the female anatomy. She doesn't look all that impressed with you though. You should show her your axe collection. Someone also sharded on your wall and it is graphic. Expressive even. It's like a work of abstract art. It's a shart no mortal man could bestow. Must have been a god of Asgard. I really like my setup. Yeah, because any weeb on the planet would like this setup. What's your point? It looks like every single one of these figurines is a girl. Does your waifu pillow know about them? I feel like the ones in the case have been traumatized the worst. I'm not sure if they're still dolls at this point or if they're DNA samples. At least they're quarantined for sanitary reasons. Gotta contain all the plasma. Not that it matters when the rest of your setup is probably compromised. What's it like to always have sticky keys on? I hope you mop your floors often, because something tells me your chair doesn't glide smoothly, it does a crunchy roll. And your poor PC just sitting there on the ground, it should be elevated and outside of your line of fire. You know, it probably thinks it's in the splash zone at SeaWorld. I'm still confused and a little disturbed by what's on your screen. Is that a cat girl? Because if so, it's weird that you're into that when both cats and girls ignore you. Are you actually trained to use those samurai swords? Or do you just use them to open up Amazon packages like, Shobuda! Okay, wow. You know, with a setup like this, I guarantee you this guy hasn't showered in days and hasn't been outside in weeks. Those key lights aren't for lighting. They're to simulate the sun. Look at this photo with all the fake plants. It's just a cover, you know? I love it when people pretend to be connected to nature when they're only ever connected to the internet. But seriously, how does one simultaneously have a setup like this and a life? There's even a counter for how many days he's spent building this setup. It's like an odometer for loneliness. It's almost like you just Googled every RGB product known to man and crammed them into this room. I'm actually getting dizzy from all the bright lights. Like, what do you stream from here? You having a seizure? And how do you have a multi-$1,000 battle station and that crappy Logitech webcam? It's like your setup skipped leg day. Everything here is immaculately clean. Except your rug. You've been breaking your neck looking at that top monitor for so long, you forgot to look down. Don't tell me you wear shoes in this room. The Asian half of me is screaming right now. What is it? Is that fecal matter? You know what this setup needs is some bleach and Febreze. And by the way, these photos are obviously photoshopped. Increased saturation, increased contrast, color balancing. This setup is catfishing harder than a Tinder hoe. You might get me to dinner, but we're skipping dessert. A few fans, a little bit of water, and all blown glass tubing with a kingpin. I like the Focal Stelia, but just sold it as the Meze Lyric is amazing. Meze, I'll send Kyle one for review. Oh, I see what you're doing here. I see you flexing on me with all your audio gear. Forget the PC. There is more cash in your audio setup than that whole system. That is a nice rig though. If you look at this picture, an audiophile will see a headphone collection. A PC enthusiast will see their dream build, and everyone else sees 12 mortgage payments and a retirement fund. Wait, I forgot this is a roast. This guy is so loaded, playing video games brings him closer to reality. This guy is so loaded, that PC is just his clock. This guy is so loaded, his butler has a butler. Not to mention his mouse pad literally has a mouse pad. Like, what the f? This guy is so loaded, he doesn't have a Herman Miller chair. He sits on Herman Miller. This guy is so loaded, his wife came with a receipt. This guy is so loaded, he owns a petting zoo of poor people. This guy is so loaded, for his kid's birthday, he bought them better parents. Look at this PC. You need to calm down with the radiator, sir. All right, it's a computer, not a nuclear reactor. You have more fans than Selena Gomez. You don't even need a power supply. This thing just runs on wind energy. What data center company did you hire to do your cable management? Obviously, you paid them more than your interior designer though, because while your gear says 1%, your actual setup says $1 McDonald's menu. You can roast mine if you want. The only stipulation is that you can't roast it solely because you don't like RGB. The tower has also changed considerably. Oh, I see. Oh, there's plenty. Honestly, I'm just looking right here. There is plenty to roast here besides RGB. So I accept your challenge of not targeting your fragile RGB ego. Your setup looks hella good from this angle, but kind of mediocre straight on if I'm being honest. I think we got another catfish setup. This thing don't get many second dates. It's fairly clean, but hardly original or inspiring. I mean, apart from the RGB panels with their dreaded dangling cables, which drive me insane, you've got the cheap acoustic panels, tear-down wall art, wall-mounted pegboard of peripherals, and Yoda figurines, which all scream gaming setup starter pack. I've seen hundreds of setups on the gram that look exactly like this one, but at least they wall-mounted their monitors. You know, your monitor stands, they look like eyebrows. You gotta wax those, bro. If you have a subwoofer under your desk, where are the speakers? Are they, oh God, they're behind your monitors. It's kind of sad that the most effective acoustic panels in this room are your gaming panels. You wall-mounted your LED lights so you're well lit on camera, which would have been cool if they were actually centered with your setup. You didn't even need a ruler to do that properly. You could have just used the pyramids on your foam panels as a guide. It's very clear where the middle of your setup is. I bet you couldn't find the center of a Tootsie Pop. Look at this photo. I like how this one's all dark and moody. It's like, it's so brooding and stuff. Like, you could feel the teen angst coming off of it. What were you going through that day? Puberty? Oh, this setup is a vibe. Okay, so he has a PC, but he has a Mac too, and that makes sense because Mac users have this amazing ability. I don't know how they do it, but Their setups always feel ostentatious. This might as well be a photo of a hipster saying, "I'm better than you." Maybe it's the artsy camera they always seem to accidentally leave on the desk, or the try-hard minimal aesthetic that always feels like a humble brag. I'm surprised this photo wasn't taken with a Polaroid. How much you want to bet this setup is 100% vegan? Well, you see, the difference between me and you is that my chair's never had a heartbeat. Once you look past the thin veil of superiority complex, though, you really start to see the cracks. RGB panels, tear-down wall art, IKEA drawers. Contrary to their own belief, they're just people like me and you. Once again, I'm getting a ping on my weeb radar, but this is not the same breed of weeb we saw earlier. Oh no, the last weeb lacked refinement and sophistication. Here, we've gone from child weeb to man-child weeb. His anime Blu-rays are alphabetically ordered, and he always waits till the third date before bringing up tentacles. Chances are he also has a stable job and makes decent money, which means his socks don't have holes in them, but his waifu pillows do. Thanks to everyone who submitted their setups. They were absolutely fantastic. I had a really hard time roasting them because most of them were either perfect or very close to it, but I appreciate you guys sending those in. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, toss a like before you go. Get subscribed for more tech content on the way, and I will see y'all in the next video.